at so many fronts. That just makes it more time-consuming.
And it's more investment from our side of the table too, and more involvement in terms of incentives, working on the environmental, helping folks along, and especially some of the more local folks that are the Main Street businesses that you're talking about. They haven't dealt with removing underground storage tanks and phase 1 assessments and reviewing them and what do they mean and how do we get to the next step. So we've tried to step in and really work not just with those folks, but reaching out to the development community that may have a little bit more of the know-how to, and getting information about our assessments out to you guys and knowing that we can help pay for those at no cost to the purchaser or the property owner to at least understand what's on the property. Because we've had a lot of organic growth in Old Town and driven a lot by smaller startup establishments, from everything from restaurants to marketing companies and civic institutions. So we've seen the growth and the demand is there, but we have a lot more challenges that we've had to jump in and be more involved with. And it definitely takes a village to tackle something like that.
Sure does. One of the things that we've been very lucky in the past 2 years is some of the larger companies that have moved here to Lewisville and brought in jobs with them. I mean, we've been in the recession, basically. We've been pretty successful, and I think this is because of the location. Of course, a lot of relocation to Texas. We're seeing a lot of companies from California, from the Northeast moving to Texas, and some of the ones we have landed in the past 2 years. I don't know if you may have read in the paper. We have a new laboratory in town. It's a research laboratory. It's called MedFusion and Convergence, and they have 900 people. These are jobs that are high-paying jobs that create the demand for a lot of new products and a lot of new things. We just had a Tribune company, the Tribune, the publishing company, they moved all of their back office here to Texas, to Lewisville. About 400 people, if you include news media. We also have Nation Star, the big mortgage company that's closed all of their offices, every place else in the nation. We are their headquarters now in Lewisville. So we've been very lucky with some very large employers when we get here, which would create the demand for everything else. So
That's been a positive trend, even in the down economy. I think that's probably been the only growth we've had in the past couple of years. But I want to kind of get you guys talking about, we've talked a little bit about the public programs. Herb did a good job of talking about some of the advantages of what they offer at the SBA, and we're talking a little bit about what we do locally. Can you guys talk about your experiences? Have you worked with local EDCs or local governments, even state incentive programs? Are you using SBA loans? I mean, you guys are, but can you around the table, can you guys talk a little bit about your experiences with public-private partnering on finance?
From our side, I mean, even though we may be different, we work in different organizations, we do have one thing in common, that we want to reignite the local economy and provide those funds to the local businesses. So that's where we all come together, whether it's credit unions or banks, to help the local economy. From our side, we're not a SBA certified lender, so the loans that we've done, they are portfolio loans. To us, in-touch credit union business lending is new. We've been doing this for about 2 years, and we're tackling the small business, but how do you determine the small business? Basically, we determine it as the small mom and pops. Some other ones may determine it, 12 employees or more, or 5 million in sales or more. We also have been privileged that we also have branches up in Michigan, and as you know, it is a very depressed market, but we have been able to help local businesses there through small business lending. We also have branches up in Nevada, and we're doing a lot of loans there. Not in the big size dollar value, but for small mom and pops that are looking to buy, for example, we had a company that got a contract with the city, and they wanted to buy a street sweeper, one of those equipments. So we went ahead and helped them. So from our side, we help the small mom and pops, and in regards to what we're doing right now and what we're seeing, I'm seeing a lot of startup requests, a lot of individuals calling me up or calling the credit union. They're looking to start, whether it's a consulting firm, a marketing company, something that is not retail. The last request, I have someone that wanted to start a franchise. So there's a lot of people looking for franchises, whether they got laid off, they got a severance package, and they want to put that money to work. So some of them are looking at 7-Elevens or maybe Subway franchises. And that's what I'm seeing in the local community.
How's that, I mean, in terms of risk, then, those things seem to be fairly risky.
In regards to startups,
Adventures,
yes.
startups, how do you guys deal with that, or how, is it,
From our side, since we started our program 2 years ago, we started very conservative. So we do not provide startup capital at this time. So what we do, since we're not an SBA certified lender, when we have this type of request, I have established local relationships with Bank of the Ozarks in the area, the Allen area. So I reach out to them and I refer them over to those banks and see they're able to help.
Well, I know, I haven't been in Bank of Texas for that long, but I come from a big bank background, 10 years at Chase and Compass. So very involved in SBA Express, 7A, 504 loans. I know that at Bank of Texas, it seems like the bucket's quite a bit smaller. We're looking for manufacturers and wholesale distributors. That is our target. It's
Primary
not a very big
jobs.
target. Yeah. I said, well, okay, so is everybody else. But there's some new management coming into the bank, and our balance sheet has shrunk over the past couple of years, and we're trying to grow again and look at some different things. So it's, sales management has one viewpoint, credit risk has another viewpoint, and it's going to take, I think, a while for that to start shifting. But from what I've heard from Bank of Texas, they had a 7A program several years ago. However, I don't know if they didn't do a very good job on the documenting side, on the front end, because they weren't paid out on the guarantee side if the loan, did go bad. So, they totally shut it off. And we'll do some 504 lending very minimally. But what I would like to, find out from you is, I've heard some grumblings that management does want to try to bring back a 7A program, but they're, not sure, and they're kind of testing the waters. Is there do you have any advice on anything I can bring back that might, kickstart that back up?
Yes, I do. What happened, of course, what he's referring to is when we provide a guarantee, it's not a conditional guarantee. If you do something wrong, clearly you don't get paid. And that happens, of course, to many of us here on the table. So what happens is people go back to history. They say, oh, the SB, I don't know, and here's the way I like to put it. It's not your father's SB. SB has changed tremendously. So we have become a marketing organization and no longer do processing or portfolio management type of work. So all our people are there to help you get to where you want to be. So my recommendation is you put me in front of the decision makers. I come with the regional administrator, political appointee, that makes a difference. So we make a pitch, to the decision maker. And at the point where they say, yeah, maybe we should something. Of course, we talk a little bit again about the value proposition.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it make sense to participate?
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win if you do it right. And then we have the local people here who are willing to do the mentorship, the people and staff who are willing to come in and say, okay, let's sit down and provide the training that you need. And one more step is when you think you have the first package, give us an opportunity to work with you to make sure that the documentation is in order before you send it for approval.
Okay.
So the first step then would be to say to somebody, well, I've met the director of the office, can you give him half an hour? He will come with his folks to make a presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's a mistake not to participate, really.
Sure, no, I believe so.
It's a mistake. I mean, there's so many benefits. I mean, all of the benefits. I mean, just think of, right now there's a program, the Small Business Lending Fund. I'm sure United is aware, $25 billion from the Treasury to lend money to banks with assets of less than $10 billion. And, I mean, the interest rate on the money, if you can increase the amount of small business loan that you make, doesn't have to be SBA. The interest rate on the money is 1%. It's not TARP. Don't take off TARP, then you get confused. This is a brand new program provided by Treasury, where you can go and apply for the money that you think you need. That will allow you to increase lending to small business. Again, not SBA lending to small business. And the interest rate on those funds is 1%. You can't get money at that rate anywhere. So it's a Treasury program. You go to USTrez.gov called the Small Business Lending Fund. And it's available to any bank with assets of less than 10 billion. 10 billion, there is an application process. You need to apply for the money.
Herb, how long is the guarantee fees waived? Is that still is it still going on, or are they still waived for a period of time?
No, those benefits just expired.
Okay.
In December.
That's what I thought, right.
Yeah. So we no longer have that. So we're back to 85% of loans of $150,000 or less, 75% of anything over 150 up to 5 million, and you have to pay the applicable fees. Yeah, small business.
You know, so much of this to me is also attitude, psychology. When I've been doing this, you know, for a while, you know, Chuck and I don't have this gray hair for nothing. But, you know, when you get everyone talking about how bad things are, it really ripples through the market. And whether people think it's bad or not, they're convinced it is. So we need to have city leaders, community leaders, government leaders, and thank goodness to President, you know, Obama. You know, he spoke to the U.S. Chamber yesterday, and was citing this exact fact that maybe not small lenders like we are, but so many companies are sitting on so much cash. They don't want to invest it because they're still scared about the market. Well, I don't have to explain to everyone else what's happened the last 2 years, the devastation that people have lost, but we've got to change our thinking and get a little bit more positive thinking, you know, that we need to be doing because this is what makes capitalism work. So in any time you get a chance to encourage any little business group, you know, do it. I mean, any idiot can talk about bad news, you know, and so stop it. You know, we need to start talking what is positive and the advantages of capitalism. And those of us who've traveled all over in different foreign countries, everybody there wants to pack up and come home with us. We are still the shining star in the world. So we just need to, in our own houses, start talking more positive about business and the economy and what's going on. And believe it or not, that does catch.
Can I vote for you?
Yeah. Well, there's more to it than talk. I'll be the first to admit that. And it takes putting capital at risk. But that's what we do in this country. And
I think the biggest challenge with that is that nobody wants to lose.
that's right.
Nobody wants to lose. So
Losing is very painful.
So if the two sides are not able to meet halfway, it's going to be a stagnant all the time.
I agree 100% with what Gary just said. The last couple of years has been extremely difficult for all of us, and you know, all of us are small banks in this community, and all of our money that we lend stays right here in this community, and that's what we want to continue for it to do. On the negative side, obviously, has been what has not been talked about is the regulators, what they have done to us. Not that we don't want to lend, but in certain cases, they have not allowed us to lend. In like development type lending, they've been very tough on banks, you know, on that side of it. You know, you're only allowed for a certain percent of your capital in that particular bucket of lending dollars, and they're holding their foot to the fire in that area. So, the small banks, we have